Well, welcome everyone to another coach tip video. I'm Dan Foster, the Chief Operating Officer and an Executive Coach here at Building Champions. And today I'm joined by, once again, my good friend and Executive Coach, Annette Pellinat. We are diving into a topic, Annette, that I think every people leader wrestles with: how to create a culture where team members are encouraged and expected to stretch out of their comfort zone. So thank you for being with me here today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about this topic. It's a good one for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we know that growth requires stepping out of comfort zones, but comfort is, like we all know, it's comfortable, right? And without intentional leadership, teams naturally drift towards what feels safe. And so, Ned, I wanted to talk to you because of your extensive HR background, people leadership background. And I know that you're working with other HR leaders in your coaching practice. And so I really wanted to get your take on this. So are you ready to jump in?
I'm ready. I'm
All right,
totally ready. Yeah.
great. So when you think about a healthy team culture, what
Mhm.
should a people leader want when it comes to stretch and growth?
Yeah, well, this is so relevant. I talk about this daily with my clients, right? So when I think about a healthy team, it all starts with that foundation of trust.
Yeah.
And that's so important because if you have that foundation of trust, people are willing to lean in, take risks, and they know that they'll be supported, that the person that's leading them, has their back
Mhm.
and really wants to elevate performance, but do it in a way that is stretching people to do their best work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
that trust is so important because if that trust isn't there, then you might have someone always going like, okay, what are they doing? Are they moving me? Like trying to ask me to do things because they don't think I'm
Correct.
doing a good job. Like they're
Yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
doubts start to creep in without that trust, right?
That's right. That's right. And then being able to have the difficult, challenging conversations because people know and understand that there's things going on. And if they have a level of trust that my leader is going to share with me what I need to hear,
Hmm.
provide me with the tools and resources to do my best work, you're going to feel willing to take that stretch
Yeah.
and even feel more comfortable doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know that I don't think any leader wakes up and says, you know what, I want to just have a team culture where we're all in our comfort zone. And so it's
Mhm.
not like we purposefully design our cultures like this. It sort of unintentionally maybe starts to happen. But
Mhm.
why does that happen? Why do we sometimes kind of lean towards that comfort culture versus a stretch culture as people
Mhm.
leaders?
Mhm. Well, I think it's as human beings,
Mm,
we tend to lean towards comfort, obviously.
yeah.
And a lot of times we want to avoid those difficult conversations. And I think I've been thinking about this question and thinking about my clients.
Mm,
People can be exhausted in this moment. There
yeah.
is a lot going on. So layering on one more uh, difficult conversation or leaning into something that takes me out of the comfort zone or my team out of the comfort zone
Yeah.
feels risky. But
Yes.
there's a risk in not doing that. And
Hmm.
so preparing yourself to support people through challenging stretch opportunities is really going to have a big payoff in the end. But
Yeah.
it's natural to avoid it because, people are facing a lot of things every day. And
You're
yeah.
right. And it's not like it's been for the world and even the US a couple of months of where it
Mhm.
feels heavy. It
Right.
really, you and I were talking before we got on the call today that it really started with COVID. And really since COVID,
Yeah.
the world has
Yeah.
felt very uncertain, a lot of change,
Right.
a lot of discomfort, whether
Mhm.
it be from economic issues, global security issues, political issues. It just feels like there's a lot of uncomfortableness out there.
That's
Is
right.
that what you're talking about? So like
Oh,
that's
it's
why we kind of strive we strive to have that place where we can just be comfortable.
yes, right. All of that is true. And then, in this moment, I mean, I am talking to clients who are going through, work stoppage or acquisition or, trying to build the business, right? Because
Yes.
things are challenging. And so, really facing additional challenges on top of all of that is it's exhausting. But
Yeah.
again, creating that environment where there is a sense of psychological safety, where
Mhm.
people know that, I am being supported as I step out, as I take accountability for things. It really builds an environment where people can thrive versus, kind of staying status quo.
Yeah.
Uh, so the comfort might be appealing, but it doesn't really stimulate and enable people to thrive.
Right. And I have to think that if you can, in the right way, encourage people to grow, that if you're tying that towards the vision of where your
Mhm.
team is heading, where your organization is heading, and you can help them to understand that, hey, this, I'm pushing and I'm asking you out of your comfort zone because there's a brighter future for us in terms of where we're headed. And if we don't do this now,
Mhm.
we might either be delayed or we might not get there. So I think if you can tie that to vision, that helps as well as a leader.
I think tying it to vision absolutely is so inspiring. Also, tying it to when you're preparing to have a difficult conversation or when you're preparing to lead into a new challenge is approaching it with, leaning into your values,
Yes.
compassion, inclusiveness. Again, creating that safe, stimulating environment,
Yeah.
and showing up
Love
is going to take you a
it.
long way towards that.
Yeah. So when did this become real for you? And whether it be in your own career or as you
Mhm.
were coaching maybe others, like when did this really kind of hit home for you?
Mhm. Well, again, I talk to my clients about it every day.
Sure.
And I can do that with confidence because obviously I was a leader for many years,
Yep.
and we all have to face difficult conversations or provide challenging feedback. And I think people tend to avoid that because they feel it's going to, demotivate people.
Yeah. Hmm.
But what I try to coach my leaders around, avoiding a really important conversation does not serve anybody.
Right.
Because if I am an employee who's experiencing some challenges and my leader is not providing me with direct, compassionate feedback,
Mhm.
I know it. I know that
Yes.
there's something going on. I also can't do my best work, right?
Yes.
And so it is the responsibility of a leader to really get past your concern about, being uncomfortable
Yes.
and leaning in and again with compassion, directness,
Yeah.
having those conversations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Once you do that, yeah, you really you see a shift in the dynamics altogether.
Yeah, I really like that you're pairing two words together in everything that
Mm,
you've said, compassion
mhm,
and
mhm.
directness when it comes
Yeah,
to feedback. And
right.
those two are so important because if you just have directness,
Hmm.
then the person doesn't feel known or heard. You don't understand their perspective on what's going on.
Right.
And you're just command and control, telling them, you've got to stop doing this and start doing this.
Yeah, right.
And if you then lack directness and have all compassion,
Hmm.
I wonder what that does. Like, how have you seen that show up for
Oh,
like
yeah.
the ill consequences of being overly compassionate and not very direct?
Yeah, overly compassionate, I think is I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or I don't want to stress them out.
Yeah.
That again keeps people in the mode of not being able to perform to their best or deliver the
Yes. It's
and
good.
then faulting towards the other side of the continuum, I guess, and being too direct or too clinical or too analytical
Yeah.
takes the humanness out of it, and people will retract rather than lean in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
I think
great.
it's
Yeah.
finding that balance
Yeah.
is
Good.
not having artificial harmony and obviously not being, a leader that is command and control and
Yeah.
telling somebody what to do. Finding that spot where you have the right balance and people feel supported, encouraged, and challenged.
Yeah, good, good. Okay, so let's get practical for those that are watching and listening. If a
Mhm.
leader is watching us, they're listening to us talk about this, and they're like, okay, but what can I do? Give me like two or three things that
Mhm.
I can be doing to really create a culture of stretch
Mhm.
rather than one that is too reliant on comfort. So what
Mhm.
have you got for us? A couple things.
Yes. So we've talked about it already. Just say the things, tell the truth, be direct.
Yeah.
Do that in a compassionate way, in a timely way, and be consistent. So people know what to expect and they can
Yes.
trust that if you need to share something, you're going to do that and you're going to do it directly. I think another thing that people don't think about is really just modeling the way. How am I showing up as a leader?
Mm,
Am I demonstrating that, oh, when I make mistakes, I take accountability,
yep.
I learn from those mistakes, and I'm
Yeah.
real, I'm modeling the way.
Yeah.
And then as a team, encouraging experimenting, encouraging stepping beyond your comfort zone, leaning into those stretches, and learning from mistakes, doing after action reviews,
Yes.
and not necessarily celebrating a big mistake, but learning from that and celebrating for the growth of that learning.
Yes.
So I think those
Love it.
are things to really kind of
Great.
cultivate this.
Two things that caught my attention there. One was the word you said, when you show up as a leader, be consistent.
Hmm.
Inconsistency, I have seen in my own leadership career, but then also with my clients, is something that actually erodes trust with people.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and so they don't want to step out of their comfort zone because if 1 minute you're encouraging and compassionate and helping them, to step out, but then the next one you're frustrated with them and angry,
Yeah. Yeah.
that doesn't work. So I appreciate you saying that consistency is key. And then the other one was just around the whole idea of failure and,
Hmm.
not celebrating failure, like you said, but learning from it and
Hmm.
having that part of your culture where it's okay to fail. And it doesn't mean that you're off the team or you're fired, but it means, okay, what did we learn from it? How are we growing from it? So,
Right. Right. And we don't shy away from it.
yes,
And it's an
exactly.
opportunity. Yes.
Yep. Yep,
Absolutely.
exactly. So we've sort of been talking a little bit about this, but the short-term consequences of not focusing on stretch. What about long-term consequences? If a leader
Mhm.
just avoids this altogether, what
Yeah.
what sort of things can happen for the team and maybe even the organization?
Yeah. I mean, for the team, I think it's a big mess. They can be left behind, right? High performing teams lean into it,
Yeah.
stretch beyond and learn and are innovative. You have a miss around innovation itself and creativity if you're not taking chances, if
Yes,
you're
it's
not
true.
stepping out of your comfort zone. One thing that I think about with my talent and HR background is you're going to lose your best people.
Mm,
People who are high potential, crave stimulating,
yes.
challenging opportunities. They want to be uh, going beyond their comfort zone. They
Yeah.
want to be invited into big, challenging projects. And if
Yes.
you are not comfortable with creating that stimulating environment, then you're going to likely lose your best people. So I think it has a lot of implications for the team, for
Yep.
individuals, for you as a leader, and for the organization
Yeah.
ultimately.
Boy, yeah, that's so good. The innovation and creativity goes down, right?
Yeah,
Long
yeah,
term.
yeah.
And then what you really said that hit home was you potentially lose your best people,
That's
right?
right.
Your
Yeah.
leadership pipeline, the people that are helping you to grow the business, help you achieve
Mhm.
your vision.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's flip the coin then. What does it look like when a leader really gets this right?
Mhm.
And what does that look like?
Yeah. Actually, I'm thinking of a very specific leader that I spent time with him and his team last December.
Okay.
This team really leaned into focusing on high potential team or high performance team.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they've been on a journey and they are in a very, very challenging industry. When we came together, this team was celebrating, this team was connected, high functioning, supporting each other. It wasn't just about the leader, it was about this team.
Yeah.
And so there was so much cohesiveness to the team, so much celebration, so much reflection on, kind of the journey they had been on. It was really a demonstration of a healthy team.
Yeah.
And, I walked out of that group and just thinking this team can do anything. And
Yes.
yeah, so it's just a whole different situation when you're operating at that level. People feel like they can be themselves, that
Yes.
they can engage, and that they can really connect. And they're willing to take ownership. They're willing to take responsibility. And they know that they're doing that in a way that they're going to be supported and they're doing it alongside people who are leaning in the same way.
Yes.
So it's amazing.
It is
Yeah.
amazing. And as coaches, we get to work with a lot of different teams and a lot of
Mhm.
different leaders. And
Mhm.
I had the same experience that you just described a couple weeks ago in San Antonio. I was with an executive team, and it just makes you feel so good watching a team be so
Yeah.
healthy and seeing them
Yeah.
engaged like this. And
Yeah.
it's inspiring. And
Yeah.
then as a coach, you get to come in and you're not helping them with massive adjustments to how they're
Right.
operating as a team. You're just guiding, facilitating, helping with conversations. And it's so beautiful to see when everyone is
Yeah.
working together in that healthy environment and stretching themselves. It's really,
That's right.
yeah, yeah.
And the leader sitting in the room is, something to be celebrated as well. He did not shy away from the difficult things, and these folks love him. Now, I'm not saying we're trying to get everybody to, it's a big love fest,
Right.
but, he certainly has delivered challenging information about the business, about the industry. He has challenged his team to stretch and grow. He has had to deliver information to individuals, but they trust him. They believe in him. They
Yeah.
know that they are safe.
Yes.
And there's nothing like it.
I
It's,
love it.
you can't stop
You can't.
it.
You can't. Well,
Yeah,
that's what I think we're all, everyone that's watching here today is probably
yeah.
saying, that's what I want for my
I
team,
want some of
right?
that.
I
Yes.
want some of that. So Annette, thank you so much. This has been
Yeah.
great, a wonderful conversation, so many pearls of wisdom coming from
Mm,
you today. And I appreciate you sharing your personal experience as well as your experience with the clients that you're
mm.
coaching. So really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah. So, hey, if you want to learn more about Annette and how she works with clients, you can check her out on LinkedIn, but you can also go to buildingchampions.com and you can learn more about what we're all doing here to help people be better humans and better leaders and just lead more effective, high performing teams. So, and if someone on your team could benefit from this message, don't hesitate to share this video with them. So, thanks to again for watching. We'll see you next time. Annette, thank you once again. Appreciate you so much.
Thanks, Dan.